Hello folks, good morning and good evening. Welcome to bhpsolutions.com. My name is Amit Sharma and today I'm going to show you some of the new capabilities or Oracle Hyperion Smartview. I'm going to demonstrate you how to write an MDX query remaining in Smartview. Over the period of time and with the later release of your Smartview getting more powered and remaining in Smartview, you can execute a MDX query, and this gives you liberty and power to write any complex query remaining in Smartview interface itself. So in today's example, I'm going to show you a couple of examples and also demonstrate you how to create basic to advanced MDX queries. If you're new to MDX or the Smartview, I would recommend you to view my previous videos about MDX fundamentals and Smartview basics. So we start with basic MDX queries. I assume you people are familiar with the basic MDX query interface and syntax. In the first query I'm going to display, I'm using a member range function, and in this query I'm going to display my months on my column and sales in my rows. And I'm using a data source, application name osample.basic. Member range could be used with a colon operator as you see over here, January to March, January, February, March, or I could have used a member range function and you pass an argument between two endpoints. So January to March, I like to see all the members. They are going to display in my column and sales is going to display in my rows. The easy way I take a copy of this and I go to my Excel. I'm using Hyperion PS3 11.123, the latest release, and I already connected to my Smartview. I open my application, simple right click, and there's an option called execute MDX. Open a new sheet. I'm going to open a new sheet. Now right click and execute MDX. You paste the MDX query, which is pretty straightforward. You like to display months on your column and sales on your rows, and click on execute. I'll just quickly cross check. Well, while copy it, I forgot to add a paste closing parenthesis, closing square braces, execute, and I could see sales on my rows and months on my column. I'll define my point of view for the remaining dimension. Product, I select product. I like to see data for my sales for my product cola. Market for New York, I may select one at a time, because in point of view you can select only one member, and you select scenario. Alternatively, you can also customize this and display one of your member product cola, market New York, and scenario actual. Let's process. This is your data. Because you are into ad hoc reporting capabilities, you can drag and drop and place your object in your desired location as well. This could also be done. I place a market and place, drag my market and place in a rows or column as well. So in addition to the MDX, you can also make use of ad hoc reporting capabilities in your remaining in Smartview. This is the first example. So as I shown you, member range could be used with a colon operator, or I could have used a member range function as well. All these examples you can find in your student folder under exercises. Let's take another example. In the second example, I'm going to show you how to use members. So in order to refer multiple members of a given dimension, writing all members individually may be very difficult and time consuming. We could have used an expression called member, dimension name dot member, or under member you define parenthesis, dimension name dot members, or you define under curly braces dimension name dot members, and all members get retrieved. You see I use over here access 0, which is column and rows. I'll take the same expression, copy and paste, and run into my Smartview, copy and paste over here, right click, and I create execute new MDX query, copy and paste. So all the months would be displayed in your column and all the member of majors display in rows. Execute. These are all the members of my majors display in my rows, and all the members of your year dimension, all members display in your column. right? And I'll select specific point of view for a specific product. Market is New York and scenario is actual. Process, and you see if you have data you would be able to see over here cola, New York, and market is scenario. I could see I have data for some combination but not for all. There's another simple example where I use member function. The member could have used with a curly braces dimension name dot member or dimension name dot members. In the next example we are going to see how to access attribute dimension. I'll show you one example of each category. If you look at your cube, you have a couple of attribute dimensions, like you have attribute dimension like package type, population, product, introduction, introduction date, and ons, and caffeinated. I like to see only those products which are available in bottle or a can. And you see attribute dimension package type is associated with my product standard dimension package type. I would like to retrieve only those products which are available in bottle, right? So I use the expression attribute, and in the you define a member name attribute, opening and closing parenthesis, and between this you define member name. I copy this example and paste it over here. Right click, I delete the existing values, intersection, and right click, execute. I could see these are the products available in bottle. These are products available in bottle. You can cross check them. I select specific market, scenario, and measure. Measure I use this time sales. I may not have data for other combinations. I'll be using sales, and I run it. So this is my data. Right? You can cross check some of the member like caffeinated free cola available in bottle. I open my outline and cross check. Caffeinated free cola, which is 130. I look at the member properties and see over here, and I see it is available in bottle, right? Therefore it is visible over here. In a similar fashion, other dimension members, other products are also available in package type bottle, therefore they are visible over here. So I can access attribute dimension. I can use attribute to access only attribute dimension. We have another example of attribute dimension given over here. You are trying to access all those attributes which are small in size. Okay, small attribute. In addition to attribute, you can also use user-defined attributes. Attribute, user-defined attribute, and shared member fall under a category called alternate hierarchy. So you can use user-defined attribute whenever you want non-hierarchical members and you want your member to be associated with dense or sparse. Regardless, you can use user-defined attribute. The syntax of user-defined attribute as given over here: UDA, dimension name, and dimension member name. Dimension name, dimension member name, or string value expression. You define attribute dimension member name. Let's see what we have user-defined attribute. In this example, we have a market dimension, and market dimension has a user-defined attribute associated. You see, markets are further classified as small market. I go to UDA section and I can see markets are further classified as small market, new market, and major markets. I could filter the market based upon the attribute properties. So I say in my expression, you see we have name of dimension is market and the value of is small market. So in your column you display label 0 member or descendant of majors, or I can simply say sales. You're displaying sales in your access 0 or column, and in your rows you're displaying all those market where attribute is tagged as small market. Let's take this and see how it works. Once again, I right click, go to execute my MDX, copy and paste my MDX over here. Right. Execute, and I could see over here only those markets are available which are categorized as small market as a UDA. For example, I take Connecticut. Connecticut is a small market, right? A small market. New Hampshire is also a small market. So whatever attribute you define during your S-base cube creation, you can use over here to differentiate your markets. In addition to UDA and attribute, you can also use member, descendant, children. Example given over here for children. A member appears below that is called children. Descendants means all the member below a given member is called descendants. So you can use the children and under parenthesis name of your member, or you can specify member name dot children, right? So this is an example where I use my member East, which is of my market dimension, and I like to see all the member of East on my column. So my East is my market dimension, and when I say all the children of East would be these members, right? Connecticut, New Hampshire, New York. So I'll just copy this new Excel, this MDX, and process in my S-base cube. Right click on your Excel and execute your MDX. Execute, and I could see over here in my column I have only children of East. These are children of East. These are my children of East, right? On my rows we have UDAs as my row. On my rows we have a UDAs of CAN. Only those products are available which are packaged under CAN. Package type is CAN. So you see these are the products available or packaged in CAN. I could further confine this for New York, specific scenario, specific major, or specific year. I like to see this only for January. Focus it and run it. This is my data for this combination. Actual sales the month of January. So this is how you can use children. Exactly in the same fashion you can use descendant. So descendant means all the member below the given member, right? So in case you in turn have, when I say East, all the children at all level, the descendant is going to show you. For example, I take this expression and replace my East, copy and paste, and replace my East with majors, I select majors, which is one of my dimension, account dimension member majors. It is going to display in a column, and on rows it displays only those products which are available in CAN. What I see, all the descendant of majors, all descendant at all level are visible over here. For specific market, New York, scenario actual, and month January, and I run it. So these are all the descendant of my majors at all level. So if you look at descendant of majors, it is going to be major, profit, margin, and in turn children of margin, sales and costs. Profit, major, profit, margin, sales and costs. Finally, we'll take another example. In addition to, rather than define a children and descendant, I can display member at a specific level or generation. In order to refer a particular member, in a label you define dimension member name, dimension name dot labels. Here you pass an argument, it's 1, 2, 3, whatever label you have, dot members. In a similar fashion, label start from bottom to up, as you know, start from 0, and generation start from top to bottom, start with 1 and increment by 1. Here I am displaying all the label 0 member of my majors on my column, and I'm displaying label 0 member of my products. So label 0 member of your products are, or majors are sales, COGS, marketing, payroll, miscellaneous, and label 0 member of products are 110, 20, 30. Maybe using an alias name rather than using actual name. So let's take this MDX and process in your SQL. I right click, execute this MDX. So level 0 member will be displayed on column for major, and level 0 member of product display in my rows. Execute. I see level 0 member of my product and majors. This is my data with the combination New York actual sales for different product. In a similar fashion as I use level 0, we could have used a generation as well. So generation 2 of your majors. If I look at my hierarchy, this is level 0, 1, 2, generation 1, 2, 3, start from top. So when I see generation second, I'm going to right click and see MDX, generation second of my majors. Generation second of majors is generation 1, profit second, and margin is third. 1, 2, third. And in turn margin has sales and costs. By displaying generation second of all majors, copy this expression MDX and run this in your Excel. These are generation 2 of my cube. Market, generation 1, 2, profit, it is product, level 0 on my column, generation 2 of members of majors, generation 2. So my major generation 1 and 2. So profit, inventory and ratios should be visible. Yes, profit, inventory and ratios. Next example, I'm going to show you how to use cross join. A cross join, you create two sets and you apply a cross join of this. In the first example, as you see, there's a cross join between your product 110, cross join with New York and Florida. So first column would be 110 New York, 110 Florida. Similarly, we use a cross join over here for sales and costs January. First, it is on rows, sales January and costs January. This is going to be my cross join. We'll take this example and we run it. So I run this, copy over here and paste, execute, right? And I also filter over here, display only budget data, 110 New York, Florida, and sales, costs and January. Execute, 110 New York and Florida. 110 is basically cola. I use an alias name over here, New York and Florida, and combination of your January and sales and costs. In the same fashion, you can write a complex cross join statement. Also, we confine our filter to budget. May have multiple scenario, but this will display only budget data. The next example is accept work, you subtract some value from one set. As in this example, I'm displaying all the level 0 from a market dimension, all the level 0 members of a market dimension, except those market which are UDS small market. So basically we have got three markets: small market, major market, and I think strategy market. I right click and go to market and see UDS. So we have small market, new market and major market. You say display all level 0 member of your market except those market which are small market. So it means in this example all the member would be display except except Connecticut and New Hampshire. Let's copy this and run and see how it works. I copy and I run directly on my client browser. Right click, execute MDX, copy and paste over here. And you select the intersection point of view for a specific product, scenario and year. And you see the data is available for the given intersection only. I have data for this intersection. Margin, New York, Cola, actual and January. All small markets are not available. Small markets are like Connecticut and New Hampshire. They are not in the list. The last example of today, we'll see how to apply filter. Filter applied like a where is you apply search criteria from a set. So the syntax over here, you take filter, first is set, and next one your set search condition. In this example, we are displaying all the level 0 members except those members where unit cost or sales or some measure is less than or equals to some amount. Let's run this and see how it works. So I don't have units, but I'll be using some substitute measure, some other measure. I right click and click on execute MDX, copy and paste. My source is sample osample.database, so I'll change it osample.basics. I could see osample.basic, osample.basic, and I replace units with my amount sales. Display only those records where sales is greater than 0, right? And you confine your attention by using where clause. Display only data for only for quarter 1, all member of quarter 1. Click on execute. Seems to be some error. Let's delete the existing data and do it again. Alright, so there's no data with the where clause. I'm going to delete this and I'm going to change it. My source is osample.basic, and change a member. I don't have units, so I'll take a sales. This is going to be my query. Display only those records where sales is greater than 0. This way we can apply filter and specify display only those measures where sales is greater than 0. When I run it, I may not find any data. When I execute, I am getting an error stating that there is no data. With the combination, I don't find any data. Okay, this may be absolutely fine because we do not have any data. We continue to talk about more example in subsequent session in second part of this video. Today I'm going to stop it over here and open for your question. Should you have any question, please feel free to visit our site www.bscsolutions.com. The second part of this video will be seeing in the next example tomorrow. Thanks for joining today's session and have a great day ahead.